Coming up, police arrest a man in connection with a murder in Boone County, Missouri. A man dies in Springfield, Missouri after being found at a Bass Pro catalog location.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. and I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So my microphone wasn't turned on a minute ago. That happens from time to time. What was it like when your alarm went off this morning?
Oh gosh, I'm very excited for today, but it took a minute for me to really wake up, I'll tell you that.
It takes a second to roll out of bed. It goes off and you just kind of look at it and you're like, oh, come on. Really? Is it already that time?
Time to clock in, let's go.
Oh, yeah, and here you are. So welcome to the morning show.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. Even on a Labor Day, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I can feel the energy in the studio. People are still waking up, but I can feel the electricity.
Yeah, we'll get the energy going here in a minute. Trevor just gave a nice thumbs up. He's like, yeah, okay, energy, whatever. Energy, there we are. Yeah, sure. I gave it, that's all my energy. Now I've got to recharge. That's where I am right now. How about that rain yesterday? Chance to recharge today as we start to clear out. No severe weather yesterday, just some good old-fashioned thunderstorms bringing us continued much-needed rain. Now, what it left behind is this, some fog this morning. There's some patchy fog out in the area, so of course, make sure you use your fog lights, not your high beams, and give yourself some extra time as you head out this morning. If you are at work like we are, if you are off, then you may still be asleep right now, or you're just waking up because your body's so used to doing it at this hour. And at this hour, it's 66 degrees in Joplin, clear skies, temperature's looking good. We've got 70 in Fredonia, 70 in Chanute, 66 Pittsburgh, 67 Neosho, and 65 in Carthage this morning. As we go through the rest of the day, we're looking at an afternoon high of 85, 77 by noon, 85 by 5. And then there is a very low chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm on the Missouri side late this evening, but most of us are going to remain dry. Overnight low tonight, 63 under partly cloudy skies, and today again we'll have otherwise partly cloudy skies. We'll talk about what that rain chance looks like and how the rest of the week is shaping up here in just a few minutes.
Nice. Thank you, Chris. Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old allegedly killing a 52-year-old Hartsburg, Missouri man. At around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding an unconscious man in the 18,000 block of South Olden Route A. Police say the victim had apparent injuries indicative of assault and homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located the 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested these charges, first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department were alerted to a suspicious vehicle in a parking lot of the Bass Pro catalog location. The white male, described by police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, police state the man has since died from his injuries. The officer was not injured. Name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after he possibly suffered a medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. Jail officials attempted life-saving measures, but they were unable to revive him. Court records show that Gillian was jailed without bond for a first-degree murder charge. Missouri lawmakers are delaying a special session aimed at passing a tax cut, saying that they need more time to work on it. Missouri Constitution allows the governor convene the General Assembly proclamation and state specifically each matter on which action is deemed necessary. Governor Mike Parson wants to reduce the state income tax by 0.5% and increase the length of agricultural tax credits. But lawmakers have made it unable to decide a final plan, pushing the special session back to September 14th. A new memo from the Oklahoma County Journal urges prosecutors to pursue charges against those who perform elective abortions, but says they should give a, quote, substantial leeway to doctors treating pregnant women for emergency conditions. The AG emphasized Oklahoma criminal and civil anti-abortion laws do not apply to pregnant women who have an abortion or unintentional miscarriages at the ectopic pregnancies. Only those who perform abortion or help a woman get one will be prosecuted. Authorities in the St. Louis area said suspects drove a stolen vehicle through 2 Academy sports stores early Wednesday morning. The first incident was O'Fallon, where several people got out of a car and went to the gun department. They tried to get into a gun case and ran away. The second incident was about an hour later in St. Peters. After crashing in, the suspect ran to the gun case, unsuccessfully tried to shoot through the glass. Police hope the public can identify the suspect from the surveillance videos. New details emerge about missing school teacher who kidnapping on Friday was caught on camera. Elise Preston has the details.
A community is desperate for answers tonight after 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher was abducted while jogging early Friday morning near the University of Memphis. Police sharing these photos with the public in hopes someone might help locate her. But according to police records obtained by CBS News, additional unreleased surveillance video shows the well-known teacher violently abducted. Police say this man, Cleotha Abston, waited for the Memphis mother to run by him before grabbing her and forcing her into his SUV. Investigators say they found her phone and his sandals at the scene. Cell records showed Abston's phone in the area at the same time of Fletcher's disappearance. Her family pleading for her safe return.
We believe someone knows what happened and can help.
Miriam Smith attends church with Fletcher.
She's got a lot of tenacity. She's strong.
Outside of Fletcher's Memphis home, police collected evidence. They also hauled this dumpster away from the home of Abston's brother. Records show the suspect's brother told police he spotted the 38-year-old suspect scrubbing down the inside of his car with cleaner and, quote, acting strange.
Court records show the suspect has a criminal past here in Tennessee. He pleaded guilty to especially aggravated kidnapping in 2001. Meanwhile, Fletcher's family is offering a reward for her safe return. Elise Preston, CBS News, Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, taking a look at the forecast as we head through the rest of the day. By the noon hour, we start to warm up nicely with some partly cloudy skies. And then look out to the north and east, the backside of that low pressure system that's brought us some scattered showers. By about 8 o'clock tonight, may bring a thunderstorm or two to the far eastern side of our viewing area. We're talking maybe in the Greenfield, Pierce City, Monette areas. Most of us will remain dry, and these storms should not be strong or severe. And they clear out pretty quickly, and as we head through the rest of the week, it's going to be a dry one and a nice one. Temperatures hovering around the upper 80s to near 90 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We just got to get through this one last tiny chance of showers today, and then we'll be good for a few days.
Nice, that's good to hear. Love to hear that.
Yeah, we've needed the rain, but we also need a little bit of a break, so that's what's coming our way.
I agree. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on KOAM Morning News, last Thursday the Pitt State Gorillas took on UCM. We'll have a recap of the game, and plus we'll have who they're playing next week.
Plus, space. Few have gone there. Space exploration is pretty cool. It's also costly. We'll have where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle stand on the issue.
And a highly contagious skin infection is making the rounds in the Ozarks. We'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh State hosted Central Missouri for their first game of the season on Thursday. The Gorillas got their win in front of their home crowd, 21-10. Pitt State's passing game was sharp. Quarterback Chad Dotson threw for 387 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those were 50-plus yard plays. But it took until the second quarter for the Gorillas to get going. Head coach Brian Wright hopes to make some adjustments ahead of their next game on Saturday against a tough Nebraska Kearney team.
Whatever could go wrong at times felt like it did sometimes on the offensive side with, the turnovers and just missing some guys, up front, and things that were happening out there seemed to be uncharacteristic of us. Couldn't generate a lot of consistent offense. That was disappointing, but the big plays there early on made up for that. I think there's a lot to get better at for sure.
Well, the Missouri Southern Lions fought hard against the 14th ranked team in the country. Southern fell to Nebraska Kearney 24-7 in their season opener on Thursday. Defense looked pretty good. They held the Lopers and their star quarterback to just 17 points. Dylan Bolden had his first pick of the season, which led to the Lions' sole touchdown. Richard Jordan Jr. led the team with 16 tackles, but the Lions just couldn't move the ball downfield. They had less than 200 total yards in the game. Here's head coach Atiba Bradley on Southern's offensive struggles.
Untimely mistakes, man. You know, when you're playing a top-ranked team, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be superhero, but we've got to operate at a high efficiency, and we did not do that. Too many drops, too many missed throws. Our pass pro wasn't what it needed to be, and so all things that we can get corrected. There were some fundamentals that were lacking, and we will get it fixed.
Well, St. Louis Cardinals have won 6 of their last 7 games, heading into the series finale against the Chicago Cubs. Cards going for the sweep, scoreless in the 4th. Ground ball up the middle. Tommy Edman lays out to get the out at first. Next inning, Miles Mike Olas in command. Gets a few strikeouts here. Now he goes 8 innings, allowing 2 hits, no runs. Now to the 8th, game still tied at 0. Albert Pujols comes in to pitch hit. Does his thing. 2-run home run. That's 695 of his career. Now one behind A-Rod for 4th most all time. Wow, just look at Busch Stadium just erupt behind him. Look at that. All right, last chance for the Cubs. Edman turns the double play, and that's the ball game. And a Gatorade shower for Pujols, 2-0 the final. Kansas City aims for back-to-back wins against Detroit. Now Royals up 2-0 in the 4th. Harold Castro goes deep for a game-tying 2-run home run. Next inning, Tigers at bat. Ball takes a weird bounce off the mound. Bobby Witt Jr. makes the grab and slings it to first for the out. What a play. To the 8th, MJ Melendez lines it to the left for a double. Nicky Lopez braces for home to score the go-ahead run, but he's tagged out. Still tied at 2. Same inning, another chance for the Royals. Witt slips it through the left side. Melendez scores. Royals hang on to win 3-2. Still to come, KFC plans on making a comeback to the Joplin area, and we're going to take a look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. All right, Skywatch Storm Tracker, quieter today than it was yesterday, and even yesterday, it's just a few isolated thunderstorms. Thankfully, nothing strong or severe in the area. Wider view, not much going on, but the low pressure system that's been bringing us these storm systems moving off to our northeast, on the backside of it may bring us 1 or 2 isolated storms later today. Good news is no severe weather expected out of any of that. Right now, the fog tracker, though, fog is starting to get a little bit denser across the area, so make sure you allow some extra time if you're out commuting this morning or maybe just getting ready to head home after a nice 3-day weekend. Labor Day today is going to be a pretty decent day, too. Right now in Joplin, mostly clear, 66 as we start this day, and we have that high humidity and dew point, which is contributing to some of the fog thanks to yesterday's rain showers. We've got some warm spots out there to start the day. Veneta, 71, Grove 72, Jay at 73, at 65 Carthage, 66 Pittsburgh, and 64 in Iola. Now as we go through the rest of the day, it's going to be a warm one. Not necessarily a hot one, but a warm one. We're looking at 77 by noon, afternoon high of 85, 76 by 8, with that isolated storm or 2 possible late today. Otherwise, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and pretty pleasant. As the overnight goes on, we're going to have partly cloudy skies to stick on through, 68 at 11, 65 by 2 a.m., and an overnight low of 63. Future track. So by this afternoon, you can see maybe a stray cloud or 2. Not bad otherwise. Temperatures staying pretty decent as well as we head into the mid-80s. And then by 8 o'clock is when we might see that isolated storm or 2 around Greenfield, Pierce City, Monette. Again, nothing severe, but just a stray storm or 2 on the backside of that low. They clear out of here pretty quickly as we go through the rest of the evening, which does give us a nice clear sky and pretty decent temperatures as we head into our Tuesday. And a quick check of the 7-day forecast shows after these brief rain showers this evening, we have a pretty nice week ahead of us in store. 86 tomorrow, 90 on Wednesday, 87 Thursday, and we've got partly cloudy skies, even some mostly sunny skies as we head into the weekend. So not a bad week shaping up whatsoever after we got some much needed rain we're going to dry out for just a little bit. Well, lawmakers on both sides of the aisles are uniting despite some astronomical costs. The reason is out of this world. Chad Pergram discusses Washington's push to return to the moon and to explore beyond it.
It is said that politics stops at the water's edge. The same is true with the edge of space. It's expensive when NASA takes a moon mulligan. Still, bipartisan lawmakers embrace flying to the moon and even Mars despite the astronomical cost. GOP Texas Representative Brian Babin is an arch conservative, but he represents the Johnson Space Center in Texas. A robust space program means local jobs, and a dominance in space bolsters national security.
We cannot allow our adversaries to get there first. And we also know that whoever is first up there in space sets the rules. I don't want a communist regime from China setting the rules in space.
NASA will spend $93 billion on the Artemis program through 2025. Each Orion launch costs $4.1 billion. NASA's Inspector General says the moon program is not sustainable, but bipartisan lawmakers still flash the green light.
Space isn't really ideological. We've been able to have a couple of years of remarkable bipartisan consensus. And that's because we're not talking about guns or abortion or taxes.
Former President Obama killed a restart of moon missions in 2010, but Congress kept funding the rocket program. And naturally, it's more expensive to return to the moon now after abandoning it for half a century.
There's a huge learning curve you've got to get back on when you haven't been doing this stuff for a while. And the way that you keep these costs down is that you re-engage and you start doing this again.
And while the U.S. has been to the moon before, there's a lot more to investigate.
We went to a handful of places during Apollo. They are all in the same part of the moon. As we look forward to the Artemis program, we're actually going to an entirely different part of the moon. We're going to go and explore the lunar South Pole.
Well, the government faces competition to explore space, not just from China, but now the private sector. The goal isn't just to go to the moon or Mars. The goal is to break gravity without breaking the bank. And that brings us to our something to talk about. Do you think there's life other than us in the universe? Yes or no? You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so in our app, and of course, take part in discussion on our Facebook page. By the way, see that handy little dandy little QR code there? If you scan that, it'll take you straight to download our app, which is pretty speedy. Make sure you take part in the poll, and then of course take part in the discussion. We are back with Health Watch right after this.
A highly contagious skin infection is making the rounds in the Ozarks. It's called impetigo. It's usually found in small children. The rashes may cause some parents to worry it's something worse. Reporting Leon Gardy talked to a family who wants other parents to get their kids treated if they see the warning signs.
Yeah, you'd rather put their health above it. This 19-month-old baby gave his parents quite a scare. They found rashes over Leon's body.
Deep. And it had like a white spot in the middle.
Parents Brandon Saeed and Tessa Eldred Saeed noticed it after daycare. They saw blisters on his feet, rashes on his leg and face. At first they looked like bug bites, but it was actually something they've never seen before.
Yeah, but it looks different. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Very damaging to the skin, so I didn't want to leave something going on for too long.
Doctors told them it was impetigo. The CDC says it's a common infection often found in young children. The symptoms include red, itchy sores. Those can break open and leak a clear fluid or pus for a few days. Saeed says they posted about it on social media so people don't think it's something worse, like monkeypox, smallpox, or some other virus.
But I knew monkeypox had been in the news lately, so I'm like, okay guys, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. This is not the end of the world, but this did happen.
CDC leaders say treatments are topical or oral antibiotics. Leon's parents say they got prescriptions and use antibacterial soap, and that eased the rashes quickly.
Be aware this is going on.
The first-time parents say go to the doctor if anything looks odd because it's better to be safe than sorry.
Don't be afraid to take your kid because it could be anything.
I'm a first-time parent. This is my first child. I've never seen this before, so kind of like a, hey, heads up, this is what it looks like.
Health officials say those with impetigo can return to school or work if they start their antibiotics. That's a look for today's top health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
All right, we are watching the chance of maybe an isolated storm or two late day, mostly on the Missouri side, otherwise dry. We've got a pretty nice week lined up for us, and we're looking at sunny skies as we head into the weekend, so we'll definitely be drying out this week. Skywatch Storm Tracker has nothing to show us on the local level and nothing really right now on the wider level, but the low pressure system that brought us rains moving off to the northeast, and we're going to barely scrape the backside of that thing later today, which could give us some scattered storm chances. Thankfully, nothing severe. Take a look. Fog tracker. We're watching some fog across the area, so do make sure if you're out and about this morning, you give yourself plenty of time to get to wherever you may be going. 66 in Joplin, clear skies, decent temperatures across the area, 69 Fredonia, 68 Parsons, and 67 in Columbus. As we go through today, it's going to be a warm one, but not too bad. 77 by noon, 85 by 5 for our afternoon high, 76 with an isolated storm or two by 8 under partly cloudy skies. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, police arrest a man in connection with a murder in Boone County, Missouri.
Plus, we're looking at fog across the area. Let's make sure that if you are driving, you plan accordingly. We'll talk about what happens when this fog burns off here in just a couple of minutes.
Also, a man dies in Springfield, Missouri after being found at the Bass Pro catalog location.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:30. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. It is very 5:30 right now. It's very early on this Labor Day morning. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend. I was preparing for this, so it was pretty fun.
It takes some preparation work. As when I first started filling in on the morning show, the first time I filled in for Tanya was an experience. The alarm going off so early in the morning kind of throws you.
Changing the sleep schedule and everything.
Yeah, it messes with everything. Once you get used to it, now see, you're just here for us today, which is going to throw your entire sleep schedule out of whack. But once you're doing it for a while, you start to get used to getting up early in the morning.
It's totally worth it though, so.
It's a lot of fun. Mornings are a lot of fun because we get to do a lot of fun, cool things. So, for example, we have Trevor down here today. Now he's smiling. He gave us a thumbs up earlier. Now he's now he's frowning. He was smiling. Now he was smiling. Now he's not anymore. I don't know what's going on. Well, something I do know about what's going on is what the weather's like right now. And it is pretty good. Clear skies in Joplin. 66 as we start this Monday, Labor Day. I got good temperatures across the area, too. 67 Yates Center, 70 in Chanute, 66 in Carthage, and 65 in Monette. As we go through the rest of the day today, we're looking at 77 by noon, afternoon high of 85, 76 by 8, and maybe a stray storm or two. Mostly around the Monette, Pierce City, Greenfield area. Nothing severe or anything, just a couple of storms on the backside of this low pressure system as it moves on out of here. Partly cloudy skies otherwise today, partly cloudy tonight, overnight low of 63 degrees. And I wanted to show you the future track real quick because I can show you as we head into the evening around 8 o'clock is when we see this. So look off to the northeast, you see the backside of this low spin around, and that's when it might bring us an isolated storm or two. Otherwise, as you can see, the majority of us remaining high and dry. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes and see how the rest of the week is shaping up.
Hey, you can shake it up.
You can shake it up. How about that? This thing does shake. If there was ever an earthquake, this desk would be the first thing to signal us to it. Yeah,
definitely.
It'd be gone. Yeah, it'd be gone. Gone.
Well, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old allegedly for killing a 52-year-old Hartsburg, Missouri man. At around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding an unconscious man in the 18,000 block of South Old Route and A. Police say the victim had apparent injuries indicative of an assault and a homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located a 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested these charges: first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department was alerted to a suspicious vehicle in a parking lot of a Bass Pro catalog location. The white male, described by the police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, police state that the man has since died from his injuries. The officer was not injured. Name of the individual was not released at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after possibly suffering a medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. Jail officials attempted life-saving measures but were unable to revive him. Court records show Gillian was jailed without bond on a first-degree murder charge. According to sources, Kentucky Fried Chicken will be returned to Joplin in the 20th block of West 7th, just to the west of Murphy's USA. Joplin has had multiple KFC locations in the past, including 20th and Main, 24th and Rangeline, and East 7th in South Florida. There's no timeline of completion of the new restaurant or hiring of staff. However, construction is underway. Other locations in the four-states area include Webb City, Carthage, Neosho, Pittsburgh, and Nevada. Announced earlier this year is a new Panera location going up at 2101 South Rangeline. Panera came to Joplin as their original name, St. Louis Bread Company, more than 25 years ago. Wow. After 1997, they changed their name to Panera as the company was sold and most stores outside St. Louis went under rebranding. The exact date of opening is unknown. There will be entrances off Geneva Avenue and South Rangeline. A lot of Joplin drivers will soon have to make plans to detour their commute. How South Rangeline Bridge construction has been planned summer and is finally starting next week. Businesses near this bridge will still be normally accessible. MoDOT officials say they ask citizens to be patient and pre-plan their routes to work next Tuesday as the bridge will close at 5 a.m.
Collision Center and even the Hidden Acres restaurant, everybody's still going to be able to, 29th Street everybody will still be able to access their businesses. They just may have to take a different route to get there.
The project is supposed to be completed by December 16th. You can find more information and detour routes on modot.org. The Carthage Humane Society was shocked to see its monthly bill increase to $2,000. They reached out to the community on Facebook asking for donations to cover the bill. The community came together to support and ended up donating more than the requested amount. Due to the extreme heat, the Humane Society bills have been increasing dramatically.
How are we going to pay this bill? Last month, our bill had jumped from $600 to $1,000, and that was difficult. But then it doubled to $2,000.
You can also support the shelter by donating animal food and cleaning supplies. The Crawford County Historical Museum hosting its 6th annual Living History program this weekend. Students experience historical demonstrations of what was life like during the Civil War era.
Our hands-on history with our students this is what life was like in Kansas during these times where there were skirmishes, there was battles, and this is what they did for home life, this is what they did during the camp life, and how they protected their home.
Demonstrations ran on Saturday from 9 to 3.
Pretty interesting stuff. I got to take the kids there a couple years ago. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. You know what else is pretty awesome?
What's that?
The weather. So this is around 5 o'clock. We might be dealing with a couple of those stray storms around the Monette Pierce City area. And as you can see, the rest of the week, partly cloudy skies here and there, otherwise looking really good. And you can see that as well on our 7-day forecast. As we've got partly cloudy to mostly clear skies heading into the weekend. Look at these temperatures. They're not bad. They're not that bad at all. For the first full week of September coming up, we are looking at temperatures floating around right at or slightly below 90 degrees. Not bad at all.
Nice. This morning we are discussing space, the final frontier. It is said that politics stop at the water's edge. The same is true with the edge of space. The expensive when NASA takes the moon mulligan, still, bipartisan lawmakers embrace flying to the moon, even Mars, despite the astronomical cost. NASA will spend $93 billion on the Artemis program through 2025. Each Orion launch costs $4.1 billion. NASA Inspector General says the moon program is not sustainable, but bipartisan lawmakers still flash the green light. Former President Obama killed the restart of the moon missions in 2010, but Congress kept funding the rocket program, and naturally it's more expensive to return to the moon now after abandoning it for half a century. While the U.S. has been to the moon before, there's a lot to investigate. This brings us to something to talk about. Do you think there's other life in the universe other than us?
So, we've been asking that question. As I've mentioned more than once, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I firmly believe that there is. We cannot be it. But not everybody shares that same view. However, so far, 75% of you say you do believe something's out there. 25% of you say, that's just us. And we won't know until we really start to get out into deep space. We're not going to know for sure. Or if something like Independence Day or War of the Worlds happens, and then we'll find out pretty quickly. That's always been, I'll be honest, that's always been one of my fears, is something like that. Mm-hmm. That some bigger alien force is what's going to end up showing up, and they're not going to be very nice. Now, in the Star Trek world, it was nice aliens that showed up, made first contact, but in all the movies, they're always here to just be like, no, we want your planet and not you. So please vacate immediately at the end of our death ray.
Well, if they are out there, I hope they're very friendly.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. You never know. But we'll find one of these days, maybe not necessarily in our lifetime, but one of these days, we'll find out.
We'll see. That's a look at today's top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a NASA astronaut not only gets a biopic produced, but he gets a school named after him.
Plus, at least 10 are dead in Canada after a deadly stabbing, one of the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, at least 10 people are dead and at least 15 are injured after a stabbing spree in Canada yesterday. Police say they identified 13 crime scenes in the province of Saskatchewan. Amy Kelly reports on search for 2 suspects.
Do not approach suspicious persons. Do not pick up hitchhikers.
Emergency alerts have been going out in Canada after a stabbing spree in the province of Saskatchewan.
It is certainly a very significant event, if not the largest, certainly the largest we've seen in the last number of years.
Police say they've identified at least 13 crime scenes. They're in the communities of the James Smith Cree Nation and Weldon. A manhunt has been underway overnight for these 2 suspects, 31-year-old Damian Sanderson and 30-year-old Miles Sanderson. Authorities believe at some point they were traveling in a black Nissan Rogue with a Saskatchewan license plate. The search and community alerts have been extending from that province into neighboring Alberta and Manitoba.
It appears that some of the victims may have been targeted and some may be random.
Police say they're also looking for a possible motive and more information in the digital sphere.
Social media brings us lots of information and brings us lots of challenges.
Condolences are pouring in for the victims and their families.
Thank you for any information that you provide to police because that is so valuable. Stay safe, Saskatchewan.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
That's a look at one of our biggest headlines from around the world. Let's go over to Chris for another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at a pretty decent week shaping up for us. So maybe an isolated storm or two today late on the Missouri side. Otherwise, a very nice week lined up for us, and we're looking at sunny skies as we head into the weekend. So let's talk about what we are looking at. Skywatch Storm Tracker has nothing really to show us locally, but what we are going to see is the low pressure system that's brought us those showers and thunderstorms over the last few days. It's tracking off to the north and east. We're going to get on the backside of that later today, and that may lead to one or two of those stray storms. Dense fog starting to build in, especially across parts of Jasper County into Cherokee County. Foggy across a good chunk of the area, though, so make sure you are allowing for some extra drive time this morning. 7th range line, skies look pretty decent right now. They are clear in Joplin. 66 is where we're at as we start this day. We're at 67 in Yates Center, 70 in Chanute, and 67 in Columbus. Now, through the rest of today, it's going to be nice, partly cloudy, 77 by noon, 85 by 5 as our afternoon high, 76 at 8 o'clock, and that's why I was focusing on 8 o'clock because of those isolated storm chances. Partly cloudy tonight, overnight low of 63 degrees. So let's take a quick look at the future track. So we head into the afternoon, looking pretty good, and then by about 8 o'clock this evening, we're looking at those stray storms, again, right around Monette, Pierce City, Greenfield. No severe weather, but there may be a rumble of thunder or two. But they also clear out of here quickly Now, this is by 11 o'clock, and we just look at an absolutely beautiful night ahead of us. And the 7-day forecast showing an absolutely beautiful week. Partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, temperatures hovering right about 90 degrees. And as we head into the weekend, not bad either, mostly sunny skies. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old for allegedly killing a 52-year-old Hartsburg, Missouri man. At around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding an unconscious man in the 18,000 block of South Old Route A. Police say the victim had apparent injuries indicative of an assault and a homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located the 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested these charges: first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department were alerted to a suspicious vehicle in a parking lot at the Bass Pro catalog location. The white male, described by police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, police state that the man has since died from his injuries. The police officer was not injured. The name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after possibly suffering from medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. The jail officials attempted a life-saving measures but was unable to revive him. Court record shows Gillian was jailed without a bond for a first-degree murder charge. South Range Line Bridge construction has been planned all summer and is finally getting started next week. Businesses near the bridge will still be normally accessible. MoDOT officials say that they ask citizens to be patient and pre-plan their routes to work next Tuesday as the bridge will close at 5 a.m. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We're contending with some fog as you head out the door this morning, and so you want to make sure you allow for some extra drive time, especially if you're on your way home from a nice long Labor Day weekend. 7th Range Line looking pretty good. Clear skies in Joplin, 66 degrees right now. Across the area, temperatures looking pretty good as well. 67 Yates Center, 71 in Independence, 66 in Carthage. As we go through the rest of today, we're having a pretty nice day. Partly cloudy skies, 77 at noon, afternoon high of 85, and then maybe a storm or two late today, but that's mostly going to be around, say, Pierce City, Greenfield, Monette area, and these aren't going to be severe, just a couple of pop-up storms, and they'll be gone before you even realize that it rained. Overnight low of 63 under partly cloudy skies, and I wanted to show you the future track because it will show you those storms. By noon, we're okay, and then as we head about 5 o'clock or so, we'll start to see a couple of those storms, and here's 8 o'clock. But as you see, too, they die out almost as quickly as they form, leaving us with a pretty nice week. And the long-range forecast also showing us an absolutely gorgeous week ahead of us. As you can see, showers, thunderstorms, clouds clear out. We may have a partly cloudy sky here or there, but otherwise not bad. And on our 7-day, it looks great. We're looking at a couple of 90-degree temperatures this week, but otherwise partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, even as we head into the weekend with temperatures hovering right about 90 degrees. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
A NASA astronaut not only gets an Amazon-produced biopic, but a school named after him as well.
Pretty impressive. Marley Ginter has more on his story.
Put him on stage with an audience of young minds, and Jose Hernandez will proudly share his story.
It gives him that license to say, if he did it, why can't I do it?
Hernandez, a Stockton native with humble beginnings as a migrant farm worker, went on to become a NASA astronaut, an inspiration that led to his name on his hometown's newest charter school.
I am very humbled by the fact that they're naming a school after me.
Hernandez served as the mission specialist on the Space Shuttle Discovery in August 2009. The purpose of the mission was to deliver equipment to the International Space Station.
When I sat down on top of that rocket, I wasn't nervous because I said, it takes thousands of people to make this mission possible. And I know a lot of those people, and I know their dedication.
Listening to him speak and the kids just saying, there's a real astronaut here. And just talking to them about, like, do you think you could be an astronaut? And they were like, oh, never. And I was like, I think you can.
Principal Donita Julius Dahmer says the goal is to bring a school known for academic excellence into an underserved community, showing kids they can go on to become engineers and even astronauts like Hernandez, a dream reimagined as the world awaits with anticipation the launch of the Artemis moon rocket.
You've already accomplished so much in your career, but if given the chance, would you go to the moon?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, Marley. I'm waiting for the phone to ring.
I figured that's what you would say.
Absolutely.
See, I'm waiting for them to rename a school here in town after me. It's
Oh,
not going
really?
to happen, but I'm just waiting for that day.
The Chris Warner Elementary School. How does that sound?
It's actually kind of a bad name now I think about it. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
It's all right, but Amber Jenkins does.
Hey,
Oh,
put that
okay.
down. Write that down.
We got some possibilities here. We've got another check of your forecast right after this. Temperatures looking pretty good across the area right now. Mostly clear skies in Joplin, 66 degrees as we start this fine Labor Day Monday. 67 Yates Center, 70 Chanute, 67 Columbus, and 67 in Neosho. As we go through the rest of today, a nice one ahead of us, 77 at noon, 85 for the afternoon high, 76 at 8, and maybe a stray storm or two around the Pierce City, Monette, Greenfield area. Good news is no severe weather, just a stray storm or two. Overnight low tonight, 63, partly cloudy skies and partly cloudy skies otherwise today. And as we head through the rest of the week, a beautiful week ahead under partly to mostly clear skies and temperatures near 90. We're back right after this.
Coming up, Oklahoma state agents investigate the death of an inmate at an Oklahoma prison.
We're looking at a pretty clear start to the day with some patchy fog out there. We're going to break down the rest of the day and the week ahead coming up.
Also, Joplin drivers beware. It's time to temporarily find a new route as the South Rangeline Bridge construction begins.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is a beautiful Labor Day. We got that Rangeline Bridge project. So
Yes.
I started covering that last year when they first announced it.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge, I mean, it's a big deal. It's going to shut down one of our busiest corridors. And so that kicks off now 23 hours from right now. You're going to need to start finding an alternate route.
Yes, definitely.
And it's, if you're from Joplin or from the area, you'll probably be able to easily find an alternate route. But if you're not, they've got a detour, and as you mentioned, it'll be posted. Amber's going to have more on all of that in just a few minutes. I've been covering it for so long, I'm kind of obsessed with that bridge now. One other thing I'm obsessed with this morning is a nice start to the day. We're looking at 66 in Joplin under clear skies. Temperatures across the area look good too. 67 Stockton, 66 rather in Stockton, 66 Lamar, 66 in Pittsburgh, and 67 in Parsons. There's that 67 I was looking for. So we go through today, partly cloudy skies, 77 at noon, afternoon high of 85, 76 by 8 with maybe a stray storm or two around the Monette, Pierce City, Greenfield area. No severe weather, just a good rumble of thunder here or there. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 63 degrees. And I want to show you real quick on the future track. As we head into this afternoon, you see the backside of that low pressure system as it rolls off to the northeast. That's when it may give us a storm or two on the far eastern edge of our viewing area. Otherwise, looking pretty good. We're going to talk about how good the week ahead looks here in just a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Chris. Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old for allegedly killing a 52-year-old Hartsburg, Missouri man. At around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding the unconscious man on the 18,000 block of South Old Route A. Police say the victim had apparent injuries indicative of assault and a homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located the 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested these charges, first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield, the police department were alerted to a suspicious vehicle in the parking lot of a Bass Pro Catalog location. The white male, described by police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, police state that the man has since died from his injuries. The officer was not injured. Name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at the Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after possibly suffering a medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. Jail officials attempted life-saving measures but were unable to revive him. Court records showed Gillian was jailed without bond on a first-degree murder charge. A lot of drivers will soon have to make a detour for their plans. South Range Line Bridge construction has been planned all summer and is finally starting this week. Businesses near the bridge will still be normally accessible. MoDOT officials say they asked citizens to be patient and pre-plan their routes to work this Tuesday, as the bridge will close at 5 a.m.
Collision Center and even the Hidden Acres restaurant, everybody's still going to be able to, 29th Street everybody will still be able to access their businesses. They just may have to take a different route to get there.
The project is supposed to be completed by December 16th. You can find more information and detour routes on modot.org. The Carthage Humane Society was shocked to see its monthly electric bill increase to $2,000. They reached out to the community on Facebook asking for donations to cover the bill. The community came together to support and ended up donating more than the requested amount. Due to the extreme heat, the Humane Society bills have been increasing dramatically.
How are we going to pay this bill? Last month, our bill had jumped from $600 to $1,000, and that was difficult. But then it doubled to $2,000.
You can also support the shelter by donating animal food and cleaning supplies. The McDonough County, Missouri Sheriff's Office partnered up with Black Rain Ordnance to purchase 20 suppressed short barrel rifles. The Sheriff's Office is upgrading its rifles from the Department of Defense rifles they are currently using.
They have recently purchased new weapon systems from Black Rain Ordnance. It's been a process. We've been working with them for about the last 3 months to make them to make them some modern weapons to fit their operational needs.
A sergeant says the new rifles will help them do their job better and faster. According to sources, Kentucky Fried Chicken will return to the Joplin in the 2000 block of West 7th, just west of Murphy's, USA. Joplin has had multiple KFC locations in the past, including 20th and Main, 24th and Rangeline, and East 7th Street in South Florida. There's no timeline on the completion of the new restaurant or hiring of staff. However, construction is underway. Other locations in the four-state area include Webb City, Carthage, Neosho, Pittsburgh, and Nevada. Announced earlier this year, a new Panera location is going up at 2101 South Rangeline. Panera Bread came to Joplin as their original name, St. Louis Bread Company, more than 25 years ago. After 1997, they changed the name to Panera as the company was sold and most of the stores outside of St. Louis went under a rebranding. The exact date of opening is unknown. There will be entrances off Geneva Avenue and South Rangeline.
All right, so on the future track, we were talking about that isolated storm or two around the Pierce City, Greenfield, Monette area. Nothing severe, and they die out as quickly as they form, leaving us with a nice evening ahead. And on the 7-day forecast, take a look at this. Beautiful weather once we get through today. Temperatures push close to 90, if not 90, a couple of days this week. Otherwise, we got partly cloudy to mostly clear skies heading into the weekend. Overnight lows hovering right around 65, so pretty decent for all of us ahead. I was thinking about something earlier. At home, when I'm folding laundry and stuff, I turn on the TV and I see all those Medicare commercials. And they've got celebrities. They got Joe Namath, Jimmy J.J. Walker. And it occurred to me that our generation, we're going to see people like Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, Patrick Mahomes on these Medicare commercials telling us that we may be eligible if you're 65 or older, like myself. And it's just kind of a crazy thought that, 30 years down the road, that's who we're going to see in these commercials.
Yes, the times are a-changing.
That they certainly are. It's just random things that pop into my head this early in the morning. I'm full of useless information.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up next on the KOAM Morning News, birthday cards can make someone's birthday. Last year, nobody came to a boy's birthday party, and this year the family wants you to send him a birthday card.
Plus, it's a war of the words. Former President Trump takes a shot at Biden after his speech last week.
And having parents who smoke can lead to teens who try vaping. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, over the past few days, Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump has taken the gloves off as they take aim at each other in speeches in Pennsylvania, an important swing state in the November primary elections. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
A war of words between President Biden and former President Trump heated up over the Labor Day weekend.
He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth?
In his first rally since the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago as part of an investigation into the handling of classified documents, former President Donald Trump came out swinging in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania on Saturday during a campaign event for Republicans running in the midterms.
The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters.
Much of the former president's address was in response to a Thursday night speech President Biden gave at Philadelphia's Independence Hall, insisting Trump and some supporters are a danger to American democracy.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
The president's address has been both hailed and criticized for the last several days.
If this was a speech to unify the American people, it had just the opposite effect. It basically condemned all Republicans who supported Donald Trump in the last election. That's over 70 million people.
Two of the hallmarks of a fascist political party are, one, they don't accept the results of elections that don't go their way, and two, they embrace political violence. And I think that's why President Biden was right to sound the alarm.
A new CBS News poll finds 6 in 10 Americans think both the politicization of election rules and attempts to overturn official election results are major problems with the U.S. election and voting system. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
President Biden will be on the road again today with stops in Wisconsin and back again in Pennsylvania. Meantime, we are still waiting to hear from the federal judge in Florida deciding whether to grant the former president's request for an independent third party to review the records seized from Mar-a-Lago. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. And when we come back, Chris will have another look at our forecast.
All right, how about that little jingle to get us going in the morning? It went away. Now I'm kind of sad. Well, all right. You heard it though for a second, and I hope you were jamming right along with it. If you're out and driving though, check out some of this fog. Make sure you're giving yourself extra time as you head to wherever it may be this morning. If you're going to work, drive safely. If you're getting ready to leave and go back home, drive safely. Right now at 7th and Rangeline, though, we've got clear skies, a nice start to the day, 66 in Joplin. Temperatures across the area looking really good, too. We're talking about 63 Iola, 65 in Fort Scott and Nevada, and 67 in Columbus. As we go through the rest of today, we're looking at a nice warm day, 77 at noon, 85 by 5 with our afternoon high, and then 76 by 8 with an isolated storm or two possible. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Overnight lows tonight, partly cloudy skies, 63. And on the future track, this is what I'm talking about. Noon today, we're doing all right, but take a look off to the north and east. This is the backside of that low pressure system that's brought us some showers and thunderstorms across the area. And as it continues to spin, later today, we're going to watch the possibility of a storm or two clipping our far eastern areas. So we're talking Pierce City, Monette, Greenfield, maybe a stray storm. The good news is no severe weather or anything like that, just a stray storm, kind of like what we saw yesterday, but a little further west. So they clear out as quickly as they form, and they leave us with that mostly clear to partly cloudy sky. Partly cloudy skies are the theme for a good chunk of the week. As we head through, you can see shower and thunderstorm activity stays off to our south and east, so we don't have anything really to worry about here. We just have to deal with clear skies, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to take that with such beautiful weather lined up for us. Because, I mean, I'm hitting this button, and you can see the temperatures change, but there's just nothing on the long-range forecast. And taking a look at the 7-day, it shows us that. So 86 tomorrow, 90 on Wednesday, partly cloudy, and then we got mostly clear to clear skies as we head into the weekend. Temperatures flirting with 90 degrees, and overnight lows hovering about 65, so pleasant all around. Well, I've got to use the chair today. It's a long story, but I've got to use the chair, and it's difficult to get in and out of. When you're only 8 years old, birthday parties mean everything. But what happens when you throw several and no one shows up? Sawyer Busey shows us how complete strangers are making a little boy's day.
My nephew turns 9 September 14th. Last year, he didn't have anyone show up to his birthday party.
Sometimes we all need a reminder that we matter. That in this giant world, there is someone thinking of us. Someone who thinks we are important.
So he's a little discouraged that people don't think of him. He's autistic and doesn't understand.
Austin is 8 years old.
He's a playful, sometimes moody kid.
He's had a rough time.
People tend to bully him at school. No one wants to show up to any of his events.
Is that true? Have you been getting bullied?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
Sad. Every kid deserves to be loved, and he deserves to have friends show up.
Austin turns 9 on September 14th. This year, the family's doing something different. They're asking total strangers all over the state of Georgia to write and send birthday cards to Austin.
Maybe a few birthday cards, he would realize that there's other people out there who actually want to send him something, who actually care.
Do you see how Bree is looking over to the side? It's because Austin is standing over there. She's speaking directly to him, and she's speaking about more than birthday cards. She's trying to remind Austin that he is important, and she's hoping perfect strangers can help her do that.
Trying to get him to know that everyone does care, that there are people out there anywhere around the world that actually care about him.
Okay, that makes me really sad, but it's also Monday morning. If you would like to make Austin's birthday extra special this year, you can send birthday cards to 7830 Smith Farm Road in Cumming, Georgia. We'll be back right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, kids across the country are back in school. But this year, some students are getting more sleep. California is the first state to require later school start times. As Nichelle Medina report experts saying that this change could go natural.
13-year-old Robert Greenway is enjoying a new routine before school, one that includes more sleep.
Last school year, it was more like get up, rush, 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 like you're tired.
A first-of-its-kind law requires all high schools in the state to start no earlier than 8:30 and an 8 a.m. or later start for middle schools to help students get much-needed sleep.
There's zombies in the morning, and then it's very stressful to try to get them up.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends teens get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Studies show nearly 70% don't get that, increasing their risk of depression, lower grades, obesity, and suicidal thoughts.
Teenagers have a huge sleep crisis.
Dr. Sachin Panda of the Salk Institute in San Diego is a leading researcher in circadian rhythm science. His research shows a later start time has a big impact in the classroom.
They actually learned better, so their grades improved by 4.5%. The tardiness also went down, and overall, teens actually felt much better about themselves.
Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey are also considering later school start times. Only about 20% of U.S. high schools start at or after 8:30 a.m., the time the AAP recommends.
How's it going? So far, so good?
Yeah, definitely. I focused like a lot more, and I just felt more productive.
An extra 30 minutes of sleep, helping Robert start the new school year off on the right foot. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Critics of later school start times say that the change could hit school districts with administrative and operational pressures, make extracurricular activities harder to schedule, and disrupt the schedules of working parents. Teens whose parents smoke are much more likely to vape. A study in Dublin by European Lung Foundation found young people whose parents smoke were 55% more likely to try e-cigarettes and 51% are more likely to try smoking. Teens cited curiosity as the #1 reason why they tried e-cigarettes. Having low testosterone may increase the chance of being hospitalized for COVID-19. Researchers with Washington University School of Medicine found men with low levels of testosterone were 2.4 times more likely to become seriously ill from COVID. That risk was reduced if men had hormone replacement therapy. Up to 1/3 of men over 30 have low testosterone levels. Monkeypox has the potential to lead more serious heart problems. A case study by the American College of Cardiology highlighted the case where a patient developed chest tightness associated with acute myocarditis just 1 week after catching monkeypox. The patient made a full recovery, but doctors say this case will help them investigate whether there's a connection between monkeypox and more serious heart conditions. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
Quick check of the forecast. So we're looking at 77 at noon, 85 by 5 for our afternoon high, 76 tonight by 8. I am standing right in front of that. I am sorry. Maybe a stray storm or two around Pierce City, Monette, Greenfield area. Nothing severe, but maybe a late day storm. Partly cloudy skies today, partly cloudy skies tonight with an overnight low of 63. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, Oklahoma state agents investigate the death of an inmate at an Oklahoma prison.
We are also watching fog across the area, so if you're doing any driving, make sure it's safe. We'll talk about the rest of the day and the week coming up.
Also, Joplin drivers beware. It's time to temporarily find a new route as the South Range Line Bridge construction begins.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:28. I'm Amber Jenkins.
And I'm Chris Warner. So during that story with the little boy that is looking, it's getting me again, for the birthday cards, it's emotional from the parent perspective because I've learned something in this business. The first time I was in news, I was in my teens. I had no children. I did stories about children. They'd be touching. Didn't really impact me. When you have children of your own, it really changes your perspective on things. So
yeah.
It gets you. Sometimes those things get you, and it's hard to not let it get you because you can't help but think about your own kids in that situation. It's like I was telling you, they're just kids.
I hope with all the birthday cards he receives after that, I hope he feels very special.
Well, I think we're going to try and organize one from the station here as
Definitely.
well to send down there.
A personal KOAM birthday card.
Why not? We shared his story, so I think we should do that as well, and you should too. And you can find all that information online as well for the address if you'd like to do that. Something else you can find out from us directly here on air is information about fog. As you can see, it's not as dense as it was, but it's still overspread in a good chunk of the area, so do drive with caution as you're heading out this morning. 7th Range Line looking really good. Clear skies, 66 degrees in Joplin. Kind of been hovering right around there all morning long. 63 in Iola, 64 Fort Scott, and 67 to start the day in Columbus. As we go through the rest of the day, we're looking for an afternoon high of 85 under partly cloudy skies, maybe a stray storm or two around the Monette, Pierce City, Greenfield area. Nothing severe, just a quick pop-up storm. Shouldn't do anything much for us. 68 at 11, 65 by 2 a.m. Overnight low of 63 under partly cloudy skies. Quick check of the future track will show you exactly what I was talking about. You can see off to the northeast, the low pressure system that brought us that rain we're going to be catching the backside of it. And you can see around 8 o'clock, maybe that stray storm or two, but I mean, as quickly as they pop up, they are gone, leaving us with partly cloudy skies, so not bad overall. We're going to talk about the rest of the week ahead and just how good or how bad it's looking. If you haven't been watching us yet, if you're just joining us and you have no idea what the 7-day forecast shows. So we'll talk about that here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old for allegedly killing a 52-year-old Hartsboro, Missouri man. At around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding an unconscious man in the 18,000 block of Old South Route A. Police say that the victim was apparent in injuries and indicative of an assault and homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located the 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested these charges: first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department were alerted to a suspicious vehicle in a parking lot at Bass Pro Catalog location. The white male, described by police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, the police state that the man has since died from his injuries. The officer was not injured. The name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at the Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after possibly suffering a medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. Jail officials attempted life-saving measures but were unable to revive him. Court records show that Gillian was jailed without bond on a first-degree murder charge. Missouri lawmakers are delaying a special session aimed at passing a tax cut, saying that they need more time to work on it. The Missouri Constitution allows the governor to convene a General Assembly by proclamation and state specifically each matter on which action is deemed necessary. Governor Mike Parson wants to reduce the state income tax by 0.5% and increase the length of agricultural tax credits. But lawmakers have been unable to decide on a final plan, pushing the special session back to September 14th. A new memo from the Oklahoma Attorney General urges prosecutors to push charges against those who perform elective abortions, but says they should give, quote, substantially leeway to doctors treating pregnant women for emergency conditions. AG emphasized that Oklahoma criminal and civil anti-abortion laws do not apply to pregnant women who have abortion or unintentional miscarriages for ectopic pregnancies. Only those who perform abortion or can help a woman get one will be prosecuted. Authorities in the St. Louis area said suspects drove stolen vehicles through 2 Academy Sports stores early Wednesday morning. The first incident was O'Fallon, where several people got out of their car and went to the gun department. They tried and failed to get inside the gun case and then ran away. The second incident was about an hour later in St. Peters. After crashing in, the suspects ran to the gun case and unsuccessfully tried to shoot through the glass. Police say that the public can help identify the suspects from the surveillance videos. Joplin Range Line Bridge closes today morning at 5 a.m. for construction. KOAM Yana Hatala talked with officials and businesses owners about the project's impacts residents, businesses, and visitors to the city.
The Rangeline Bridge construction has been on planning all summer and is finally set to start next week. Officials ask residents to be patient and replan their route for work for next Tuesday.
The Rangeline Bridge near Lowe's is part of Governor Mike Parson's Focus on Bridges program, which plans to repair or replace 250 bridges statewide. The current bridge does not have sidewalks, but the new one will.
This is actually new to tie into what's there to create a continuous path for pedestrians as well as vehicular traffic.
MoDOT is putting up signs to indicate the detour. However, it is a state route, meaning it may be longer than one drivers may find on their own.
As a state organization, we can only detour on state routes. So you say, oh my goodness, that's so far way out of the way. Again, I'm sure locals will find their own way around.
Andy's Frozen Custard is just south of the bridge. The closure may affect the amount of customers to the business.
So we've actually tweaked our numbers a little bit for our sales projections, just assuming that we probably will lose some business just because it is the busiest road in town.
But the general manager says they will still be open normally.
We're hoping that people will take time to stop, especially with that side road still being open next to us, maybe take some time to look over and hopefully see us and remember that we're still here.
For the first months, the workers are planning to work on the project 24/7. Only thing that would stop them is the train going under the bridge.
To leave it actually open, it'll be an active rail line all during construction, so we have to leave access to the railroad at all times.
Officials say construction should not cause too much noise for the businesses nearby. The workers will try to have the bridge open as soon as they can.
87 days is what it is bid at. So yeah, as soon as we get the bridge done, okay, we'll open it up for traffic.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
The project is supposed to be completed by December 16th. You can find a link to more detailed information about the detour route on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com.
Quick check of the 7-day forecast shows us where we have an absolutely gorgeous week in store for us. Partly cloudy, mostly clear skies, temperatures flirting around 90 degrees with overnight lows in the 60s.
That's a look at our top news. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Jonah Jameson wants you to bring pictures of him of Spider-Man as Spider-Man. No Way Home catapults back to the top of the box office.
Plus, the cost of going to space is quite a bit, and we've only explored so far. Today, makes us want to know, do you think that there's life in the universe beyond us? We'll let you weigh in. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Bed Bath & Beyond confirms the death of its chief financial officer, Gustavo Arnold. The New York Police Department says he plunged from the 18th floor of an apartment building in Lower Manhattan. The trouble retailer said Arnold, who was 52, joined Bed Bath & Beyond in 2020 after executive positions at Avon, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, and Procter & Gamble. Bed Bath & Beyond said Arnold was instrumental in guiding their organization throughout the pandemic. Last week, the retailer, whose shares have been volatile, announced the reconstructing of including store closing and layoffs. Arnold was recently named in a lawsuit accusing him of fraud. Bed Bath & Beyond insists the suit is without merit. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says footwear company called KOAM has recalled children's sandals sold exclusively on Amazon due to lead hazard. The agency said that the inner layer of the recalled sandals contains levels of lead that exceed the federal lead amount content ban. Lead is toxic if ingested by young children and can cause a range of serious health problems. Spider-Man: No Way Back Home catapults back to the top of the box office in the 2021 film's re-release over the Labor holiday weekend without $6 million in ticket sales. Part of the box office draw was heavily discounted $3 tickets at more than 3,000 theaters nationwide. The Cinema Foundation says the first Cinema Day promotion was the highest attended day of the year with some 8 million movie goers. That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Chris to talk about today's forecast.
Well, this morning, we'll discuss that forecast a little later, but first we're going to discuss space, the final frontier. It is said that politics stop at the water's edge. The same is true with the edge of space. It's expensive when NASA takes a moon mulligan. Still, bipartisan lawmakers embrace flying to the moon and even Mars, despite the astronomical cost. Now, NASA will spend $93 billion on the Artemis program through 2025. Each Orion launch costs $4.1 billion. NASA's Inspector General says the moon program is not sustainable, but bipartisan lawmakers still flash the green light. Now, former President Obama killed the restart of moon missions in 2010, but Congress kept funding the rocket program, and naturally it's more expensive to return to the moon after abandoning it for half a century. Now, while the U.S. has been to the moon before, there's a lot more to investigate. That brings us to our something to talk about as we dig deeper into space. Do you think there's life in the universe besides us? Yes or no? So far, 85% of you are Star Trek fans, apparently, and believe that there is, and 15% of you say, we're it. We're back with birthdays and anniversaries after the break.
We take time to honor today's four-state hero, David Shelton Yerby. Specialist Shelton Yerby served in the Army. He served with the 82nd Airborne Division in Iran and also in Bethlehem. A native in Miami, Oklahoma, we thank you today's four-state hero, David Shelton Yerby.
Now for some Labor Day birthdays, and we begin in Girard with Radence Franklin, turning 9 today with a very cool shirt there. Radence, a happy birthday to you.
And we have a Laney Lankford turning 14 in Cartersville.
We've also got Briley Heimer turning 15 in Fort Scott. Happy birthday, Briley.
Samson Fencer turning 15 in Pittsburgh from Love and Grandma Smith.
And we've got Roland Whitchurch in Jasper turning 16 years old. A very happy birthday to you. And this comes with love from Granny and Papa Charles.
You got Joel Schultz turning 17 in Parsons.
And Zach Trim over in Thayer celebrating birthday number 27. Happy birthday, Zach.
Kenny Colby turned 48 on this past Saturday.
So see, now Kenny gets to celebrate for the entire Labor Day weekend. Way to go, Kenny. That is the perfect placement of a birthday. We've also got Jim Akins turning 50 over in Iola. Happy birthday to you, Jim. And hey, guess what? Jim and his wife, Brittany, no, I'm so sorry. We have two Jim Akins. Okay, this is interesting. My apologies. Jim and Brittany Akins, a different Jim, celebrating their first anniversary in Iola. The anniversary was on Saturday, and Brittany celebrated a birthday last week, so it's just celebrations all around. Happy anniversary to you all.
Mary Sauer turned 60 in Arma.
And Cindy Stoll turning 68 in Chanute. Happy birthday, Cindy.
Larry and Joan Allen had a 62nd anniversary on Saturday. 62nd, wow.
That is a lot of years to be together, and it looks like they are doing great. Happy anniversary. And they are in Chautauqua. And then we've also got our very own Debbie Haynes, one of the many people behind the scenes that keeps this station going, celebrating a birthday as well. She's one of our traffic assistants. And we're not talking about driving a car. We're talking about a different kind of television traffic. Debbie, a very happy birthday to you.
You also got Melody Morgan in Joplin.
And here's the thing, Melody Morgan's name is extraordinarily familiar to me. I think she may have been my 6th grade math teacher at South Middle School in Joplin. Could be a different Melody Morgan, but I am fairly certain that this has got to be the right one. Melody, happy birthday to you. We've got Clay King in Columbus celebrating a birthday, as well as Sandy Friend turning 67 in Columbus. Anna Klein, 75 in Crestline, and another party in the bus with Denise Hodgson turning 70. Happy birthday to all of you. Now, if you've got a birthday or anniversary, Amber's going to tell you where you can send them.
Yes, you can submit it at birthdays at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com.
And something important to remember is the S on those email addresses, because without it, it's not going to work. And it's not just for birthdays, it's for anniversaries as well. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is an awesome deal to get involved in, get some good deals from local businesses. Just go to KOAMNewsNow.com. Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. Well, coming up, we're going to meet a St. Louis World War II veteran who still volunteers at an area hospital. That's when we switch over to KOAM Morning News at 7. We'll have more on this incredible war hero and how he still serves after serving his country. But first, a check of that forecast. So what we're watching today, some isolated storm chances late today on the Missouri side. We'll talk about those. Otherwise, we have a really nice week lined up for us, and we're looking at sunny skies heading into the weekend. So right now on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, really not much to show you, but you can see off to the northeast up by Rolla. That's the wrong button, but that's all right. It moved it. Some scattered showers. That's on the backside of a low pressure system that brought us rain and thunderstorm chances over the last couple of days. And as it spins through, we're going to pick up on maybe 1 or 2 more of those storms. Right now, we're dealing with some dense fog across the area. So if you are out driving, make sure that you are prepared. Take some extra time. We're looking at pretty dense fog around Chanute, just to the northeast of Edna, around the Joplin area. And we've got just good fog cover across a good chunk of the viewing area right now. 7th and range line, the sun coming up. Look at that fog off in the distance. Slowly starting to burn off, and it'll continue to do so as the sun rises. 66 in Joplin under otherwise clear skies to start the day. Temperatures across the area looking pretty good too. Cool spot, Iola at 63, 69 Chanute, 67 Parsons, 69 in Welch, and 68 to start the day in Miami. Now as we go through the rest of our day, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, 77 at noon, 85 for the afternoon high, 76 by 8, and then maybe a stray storm or 2 around Pierce City, Monette, Greenfield. Roughly that area is where we may see this. Going through tonight, partly cloudy skies, hang on for an overnight low of 63 degrees. I wanted to show you the future track because as we head through today, first off, gorgeous temperatures. Really not all that bad by noon today. As we head into the afternoon and evening, we do warm up a bit. Now, again, a little further out west, say Sedan, Independence, Neodesha, it's going to be a pinch warmer, but still not bad whatsoever. And then by the time we roll into tonight, here's a couple of those stray showers. No severe weather or anything, just maybe a rumble of thunder or 2. Again, right around Greenfield, Pierce City, Monette. Otherwise, the rest of us stay dry. And as you see there, those storms, they clear out as quickly as they manage to pop up. And for the rest of Tuesday, as we head into Tuesday morning, just absolutely gorgeous. And the future track down the long way, the only thing it really shows us in our area is those partly cloudy skies. And that's all we're really going to have to deal with. By the time we head into tomorrow, shower and thunderstorm activity staying off to our southeast and east. Partly cloudy skies again heading into Wednesday. Not bad. Temperatures look pretty good too. Now again, further west, it's a pinch on the warmer side than we're seeing here, but still for our area, not bad at all. And you can see that too on the 7-day forecast as we look at 86 tomorrow, 90 on Wednesday, 87 by Thursday, 90 on Friday. Clear skies, maybe a few stray passing clouds, but a really decent week lined up for us, even heading into the upcoming weekend. Check out these overnight lows, just hovering around the 60s. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Boone County deputies arrested a 23-year-old for allegedly killing a 52-year-old Hartsburg, Missouri man. Around 8 p.m. on September 2nd, Boone County Communications received a 911 call regarding an unconscious man in the 18,000 block of South Old Route A. Police said the victim had apparent injuries and indicated of an assault and homicide. According to the media release, officers quickly located the 23-year-old suspect and made an arrest at a nearby residence. Deputies requested that these charges, first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department were alerted to a suspicious vehicle in a parking lot of a Bass Pro catalog location. The white male, described by the police in his 30s, was rushed to an area hospital. However, the police state that the man has since died from his injuries. The police officer was not injured. The name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at the Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell after he possibly suffered a medical emergency and stopped breathing. According to an OSBI statement, jail officials attempted life-saving measures but were unable to revive him. Court records show that Gillian was jailed without a bond and was on a first-degree murder charge. South Range Line Bridge construction has been planned all summer, and this week it is finally starting. Businesses near the bridge will still be normally accessible. MoDOT officials say that they ask citizens to be patient and pre-plan their routes to work this Tuesday, as the bridge will be closed at 5 a.m. That's a check of today's top news headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, and check out that forecast as you head out the door. Fog will burn off, giving us partly cloudy skies, 85 for a high, and maybe a storm or two by Pierce City, Greenfield, Monette area. No severe weather expected, but they may see a little bit of rain tonight. Partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 63 degrees, and on the 7-day we dry out. Over the next several days, we're looking at 90 by Wednesday, 90 on Friday. Otherwise, temperature's not too bad. The weather conditions not too bad. Drought conditions slowly improving across the area because we have started to see more rain. And remember, we're still hypothetically above our average rainfall for the year because we got all of our rain in May and then just hit a bad dry spell through June and July. But we are starting to catch up on some of what we need to help with the drought in the area.
Nice. Coming up today at noon, we're making barbecue chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
The test chicken. We're making chicken in the test chicken. I like that. That's a better way to say that anyway. Your morning news, of course, continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Ahead on the show, Anthony Mason live from London with his personal take on the emotional star-studded tribute to the late Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where you can only find your local morning news continues. This morning, Lebec County Relay for Life stops by the studio to tell you how you can participate.
Plus, Dolly Parton releases a Doggy Parton fashion line. Jeannie Moose brings us the story from the runway.
So cute.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.